Welcome to the Couples Podcast with Jayson and Ellen, where we discuss long-term partnership, parenting, and how to keep your most important relationships thriving for the long haul.
I'm Jayson, an entrepreneur, founder of the Relationship School, author of Getting to Zero, and coach for founders and CEOs and couples.
I'm Ellen, a couples therapist and coach, teaching and writing about relational longevity.
We've been married for 18 years. We're raising 2 teenagers, and we've been working with people on their relationships for 60 years combined.
We care about relationships, health, nature, humanity, and the vibe in your home. We live and breathe this shit. Come join us.
All right, welcome back to the Couples Podcast.
Thanks for being here.
Hello, Ellen.
Jayson, what's up?
We were just brainstorming a couples retreat for 2026, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We're working on it.
Yep. Okay, today we're going to talk about something near and dear to my heart. The masculine-feminine conversation.
It's not really near and dear to your heart.
No, it's really annoying.
We got to address it.
So we're going to address it. We've addressed it before, years ago on the podcast, a different podcast. We talk about it a lot.
When it comes up.
Yeah, when it comes up.
Usually from someone else.
We see it a lot. I see some couples that come to me, but often guys come in having read Way of the Superior Man, or they just got back from Burning Man, and they're like, oh, I need to be more in my masculine.
Yeah, let's explain what this is, just in case someone listening doesn't know what we're talking about today.
All right. So there's a construct to deal with relationship problems out there. In other words, there's relationship advice that sounds like this. All of your relationship problems boil down to problems with polarity and masculine and feminine. Either you don't have this right, or 2 of you are too in your masculine, or 2 of you are too much in your feminine, or one of you is one way or the other. And if you just figure this out, your relationship should be awesome.
Yeah, you'll have all this connection and ease and vitality, and your sex will be great. But you have to have the correct balance between masculine and feminine.
Yeah. Between
you two. Okay.
Yeah. And
that's the idea that we're
that's right.
Trying to unpack here today.
Yeah.
That we have feelings about.
Yeah. And it's important you hear from us because we're just coming at this whole thing from a different angle.
Yeah. So
I saw this post on Instagram. You know, Instagram just feeds you kind of more of what you're looking for. I slowed down on this one. I was like, what? And it said, most marriages fail because both partners are in their masculine. All right, there's a lot of things wrong with this. I saw that and I was like, what? Where's the research on this one? And who says who? And what does masculine mean?
Yeah.
What is this woman talking about?
Yeah. It's many concerns with that statement. Yes.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to read it and then we're going to unpack it. Most marriages fail because both partners are in their masculine. Okay. So here's the interpretation of what that means, I think. It means, so first of all, masculine kind of means man. So they often conflate gender, even though they'll make a disclaimer and say, oh, no, it doesn't. If one of you is more masculine and you're the woman and the man's more feminine, this is fine too. This works too. They'll say that. But people can't tease this apart in their brain. So masculine means men to most of these people, even though they say it doesn't. And feminine means woman.
Mm-hmm. And I think the idea is that the man is supposed to be the masculine one.
Yes.
And the woman is supposed to be the feminine one, according to this construct.
Yeah. This construct. So this construct basically defines masculine as leader, director, knows what to do, when to do it, takes charge, gets stuff done, and leads. This is kind of what they say the masculine is, which is what they're basically saying men need to do.
Isn't there also something about him like he's supposed to hold space?
Yeah, he's supposed to hold space for her emotional upset and her feelings. Okay. That's masculine. Feminine means she's supposed to, if she's in her feminine, and again, if she's in her feminine, she's supposed to surrender.
Be soft.
Let him lead. not criticize him,
trust, believe in him,
admire him, appreciate him. Don't criticize or try to control him or tell him what to do, because that's you being in your masculine as a feminine, as a woman. So it also means very much you're supposed to be receptive, etc.
Yeah, warm and soft and just...
Yeah, but also very powerful. The feminine is powerful.
Oh, emotional. Like you get a lot of room for feelings, I think.
Yeah, and your feminine power is all about like surrender and letting the man lead.
And in sort of your emotional outrage at times.
Yeah.
Maybe too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know it that well. I feel like you know this world better than me.
I'm just kind of painting the broad strokes from what I've read over the years and studied, and I have studied with David Data. And this kind of teaching, relationship problem solving, there's a lot of people teaching this now. They're often relationship coaches. They're often not therapists. They're often people with no clinical training. They're often people that don't understand the nervous system and attachment, or even patriarchy.
Psychological development. Yeah, patriarchy.
Feminism.
Gender roles.
So there's a lot that they don't get, but they hear this, and they're often newly in a relationship. They're often single. They're often dating. They're often at Burning Man. And there's just this mentality of, oh my God. And look, I just want to say this has value to some people some of the time. But as an overarching catch-all for relationship problems, it's not adequate.
It's not going to cut it.
Yeah. Okay. So when this woman says most marriages fail because both partners are in their masculine, she's basically saying most marriages fail because Ellen is trying to be the man and I'm trying to be the man, and we're both trying to lead.
Yeah.
You want to be in control and in charge, and I want to be in control and charge, and that takes you out of your feminine, and you're acting like kind of a man here, and that's not good. And so our marriage is going to fail because of this. That's kind of my interpretation.
Right. And because of this is that we're both in our masculine energy, and that's bad.
And that's bad.
For the marriage. Okay.
Yeah. But if I was in my masculine and you were in your feminine fully, our marriage would be fucking amazing.
Because I would be letting you lead.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be maybe stressing out and over-functioning and something like that.
Yeah, because I would just be handling things and you could just totally surrender to my leadership.
Yeah. So I have like zero capacity to roll with this paradigm. And because I cannot hear anything but how oppressive this is to both genders. That's all I hear. I hear that I'm like, wow, these boxes are small. These are small boxes that we each get to inhabit.
Yep.
And that's where you have to live all the time in order to have a great marriage. I'm like, oh my God, like try doing that for a week, let alone 18 years. I don't even know how you would be the same way in opposition as much as possible. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. And it's, so I have a huge issue with the idea that any of us can really separate out masculine and feminine from gender.
Yeah.
And
it's hard.
It's really hard to do given our society and how we grow up. And so I just feel like these words are so loaded. They're so loaded with value. Like one is more valuable. I'm like, why don't men get to have emotions and softness and receptivity? Why doesn't the feminine get to have clarity and leadership? I'm like, the world fucking needs that. Like we need that in this world, I think. And so this paradigm just really unravels quickly for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, again, anyone teaching this that's been married with kids for 18 plus years. Usually, again, it's people that are younger, newer in relationships that are perpetuating this model. Just want to.
Okay. I don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah. That matters here.
Okay.
And again, I just want to say everything's partial. Like even the stuff I'm maybe teaching is, it's hard to be so all-inclusive.
Sure.
And the problem that I've seen over the years with the men need to be in their masculine, and this is often a David Data thing. I have criticisms of him. And again, it has value to a point, is if you're an anxious guy, anxiously attached, and you're sensitive and you're in touch with your emotions, you're going to get labeled as feminine, according to this model, that you're in your feminine. And you're going to need to be more in your masculine. So, hey, dude, she doesn't want to feel your anxiety. She doesn't want to feel your neediness. She doesn't want to feel your emotions. Like, she doesn't have space for that. You need to kind of get that handled and be more masculine. And what that has done to men over the years is it turns into a performance to be more manly, to be more masculine.
Some idea of masculine.
Of some unreachable, unattainable way you're supposed to be. So in other words, override, shut down, just kind of distance yourself from this part of you that looks and feels feminine at times, emotional, needy, etc., anxious. And dude, you got to be more masculine. And the male ego and the male personality and the male psychology, is very hard to do this genuinely. Most men can't do it. It turns into a performance. And no one can keep up a performance in the bedroom over many years, or just living together, raising children.
Right.
It's so performative because of what men do with this teaching. They get really into, I need to be different than myself. And it kind of adds to their shame about their anxiety and how sensitive they are and how emotional they can be. And then their woman, let's say they're with a woman who gets upset with this part of, let's say she's more islandy, more avoidant, or she's just whatever, doesn't matter. She then judges him, and if she's bought into this model, she judges him also. So he's judging himself, and now he's got his female partner judging him.
And he was probably judged his whole life for this.
And he's probably judged his whole life for his emotions, his sensitivity. And now it's just like pile on.
And the woman who, there's so much we can say here. Let me stay with the guy for a second here, because I feel like there's it's starting to make me think about Jungian psychology and how in that view from a Jungian perspective, we all have an inner masculine and an inner feminine. Yeah,
the anima and the animus.
Yes, and we have disowned aspects of these parts of ourselves based on our families, based on the society and culture we grow up in. And one of the goals of development, of human development over time, of becoming a self-actualized human being, is integrating all these aspects of ourselves. We are so multifaceted. We have, even in Jungian psychology, it's like, yes, there are masculine and feminine energies and aspects that aren't gendered, but of course it's hard to separate that out. And the idea is that over time we're integrating all of this. So it's like, it would come at that, if a man is struggling with, like you're talking about it from an attachment perspective, again, we could look at this from so many angles. Yeah. With anxiety or fear or like a distrust in the relationship and a sort of a hypervigilance, there's a lot of ways to work with that honor someone's nervous system, someone's trauma history, many messages that this man probably has already gotten throughout his life about being too emotional and too sensitive that have probably had him disown aspects of himself. And so telling him he needs to keep squashing and not like figuring out a way to integrate and navigate that part of himself consciously, but instead just be more masculine. I'm like, it's just, no one's growing and developing. And for that, which we're really into, Jayson and I, we're like growth and development. Like that is the drum we bang. And for a woman in that scenario, you're saying, let's say she's more islandish, which would mean, you're talking about attachment there, which is like maybe she's a little more self-reliant, a little more prone to kind of disregard her relational needs and even her own emotions and kind of prioritize getting shit done and being on top of things. And she has disowned her sensitive parts as well. Yeah. Emotional, that needs connection and needs to feel secure with someone else. And now she's shutting that down in him. She's already shut it down in her. Now we're shutting it down in him. And the idea, I think, is that so that she can somehow contact that aspect of herself.
Maybe it's more like, I think, so she can relax.
So she can relax, but I'm like...
And feel safe.
And feel safe enough. And I'm like, I'm just like, good luck with that being a long-term solution. Like maybe for a moment that would do something. Like you said, at times this can help people. But I'm like, the real task is, how does this woman get in touch with her real relational needs, her real bodily, like real requests, like real, like, how much do I want to be doing? How much have I bought into that I'm actually not on board with? Like you don't get to have an individual inquiry into who am I? How do I want to function? What's the best way for me? What's the best way for us as a couple, as two individuals trying to have a shared life together? So
you're basically saying, I want to stay with her for a minute. So she's disowned her anima, right? In Jungian psychology.
Well, I don't even want to try and...
Well, okay. So it's basically, it's disowned the
feelings, relational...
sensitive side, the anxiety side. Yeah. And she has disdain for it because that didn't go well in her family of origin. And now she's, of course, attracted a partner to get her to like actually integrate, is what you were saying, so that she can kind of reclaim and own this part of herself. And instead of that, she's shutting, like you said, her down and him down because she's like, I don't want to deal with this.
Well, I don't know if I'd be like...
This is just what I'm...
Yeah, I don't know if she attracted him for this purpose. I don't know if I would say that. That's not my language, but she has an opportunity to be inquisitive about like, wow, why is this so hard? This part of him so hard for me? What feels so threatening or upsetting about it? Am I comfortable with my neediness? Am I comfortable with my vulnerability? Am I comfortable with the part of me that can feel insecure? Like, again, we're creating more splits, is how it feels, and more roles and more rigidness, which we know does not lead to integration, does not lead to growth and development as an individual or as a couple. And another issue I have is it seems like this model doesn't make room for two leaders. You can only have one leader.
One leader, the male.
And it has to be, man, I'm just like, whoa. This is like when I look around at our society today, I'm like, we live in a society that devalues feelings, relationality, sensitivity, compassion, consideration. And then we create a marriage where only one of the partners gets to feel that, and you only get one leader. I'm just like, okay, now we're perpetuating more social problems that I see out in the world, and we're not learning how to co-lead, which to me is the essence of, where I'm coming from, which is a secure, functioning, Stan Tatkin's language, kind of marriage or partnership where you're co-leading, you're collaborating, it's like, this is my life just as much as it is yours.
Yeah.
Together, we carve our path as consciously as we can together. I can't imagine handing over the leadership of our life and our relationship to you. I'm sorry, I love you, I trust you, but I want to be included in that. I have all kinds of things I want to participate in with you. Yeah. Like I can't imagine your vision or your way.
Well, it just hasn't been our experience. Okay. So if nothing else, our criticism of this model is that's just not our experience with ourselves in our marriage, as well as with people. If you want a co-created collaborative adult partnership, long-term, this is more of traditional gender roles, is what it starts to feel like.
Yeah.
Man runs the home, man runs things, man's in charge, woman follows, allows him to lead, doesn't want to bruise his fragile ego. Better not do that. So, honey, I'll just kind of support you being yourself and you just take charge and I'll surrender to you. It's like from the 50s or something.
Oh my God.
And look, we live in a world where men are leading everywhere and they're just taking a shit on everything and annihilating things. And that's a lot of what we see with men in power. So you want more of the same in your home? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. And we see a lot of couples who come in trying to make this masculine feminine polarity thing work for them.
And I have never seen it do anything. I can literally say never here. I've never seen it do anything for a couple other than box them in tighter to an idea of how they're supposed to be as a human being and as a partner.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but in my work, I'm like constantly trying to get people out of their ideas of how they're supposed to be as a person and as a partner and into like an authentically co-created relationship and personal purpose and meaningful path in life.
Yeah.
And it does not subscribe to these boxes. I've just never seen that happen. We all want way more access to way more parts of ourselves as we grow and develop, as well as in partnership.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, I just want to echo that. I have not seen it work once long term. I see it work for people who are in a new relationship and they're playing with sexual polarity.
Okay.
That's when I've seen it, quote, work. But that's usually a strategy they're employing in the bedroom where one person needs to lead and one person needs to follow. And that creates this kind of charge, this sexual charge of the polarity of, quote, masculine and feminine. People talk about it being a good experience. So I've heard some people say that over the years. And I think I understand that. But again, as an overarching catch-all long-term solution, it's just not adequate. Where one of us is a leader, like, again, Ellen and I are trying to do the more complex thing, which is sharing leadership, sharing power, collaboration. And that, I think that is harder.
It's infinitely harder to really like kind of cultivate your own experience versus like try to fit into a role.
Right.
To be like, how do we stay connected, have our connection feel vital, have our sex life feel alive and well? Like, how do we do that if we're being really true to ourselves and really interested in what works for you and who you are and how you're evolving and developing? Like, we have to stay so plugged into each other to have what we want and give each other a lot of room to be fully true to ourselves. Like, it is it's complex, but it's interesting and it's doable. It's not like calculus. It really isn't, but does require you to be a little more, you can't just like pick up a script and fulfill it. And I think that's why you say you don't see this work for people long term. Like, maybe short term, it gets them into a different pattern, or it changes some of the energy maybe in the short term, but I don't think it's sustainable because human beings want to grow and develop. We want to integrate and evolve. We want more access to ourselves. We want to be more multifaceted. We're going through life changes. We're having midlife crisis, quarter life crisis. We're giving birth. We're changing careers. Like, we're going through so much. And this model feels so small and like dishonoring of what's actually going on in a partnership. I really feel like I could say that. I'm like, oh, it's such a reductionistic view of what an adult couple in this day and age really is navigating day to day over time. You know, it's just doesn't do it justice. It
really doesn't. I want to come back to the over-functioning comments too. Like, that's somehow, I think that needs to be unpacked a little bit, that's a female that's, quote, over-functioning is somehow inner masculine. Yeah. Will you?
Yeah, because we were reading some of these quotes on Instagram to get kind of, for me to get my mind around what do people say about this? Like, what is this model? And it seems like there's some association with a woman who is kind of taking care of all the household and children and like plans and logistics, that she's like, this means she's in her masculine, quote unquote. And I would say, there's a gender role problem maybe going on. There's a under-functioning partner and an over-functioning partner in the home, household, lifestyle area of things. And there's a lot of social support for this. Like, people have been trained their whole lives to over-engage or disengage or overly caretake others or overly manage things. Like, there's a lot of history that goes into people going into these ways they function under stress. And there's also a relationship challenge going on between them. If they're not communicating well, if they're not collaborating well, this is often, when I see this couple, I see them more in, they're both inside their own minds doing way too much independent decision making, feeling. They're not actually deciding and choosing how they want to live their lives or connect or do anything in their relationship, let alone their outside life. They've fallen into, this is just what I have to do. And there's just a lot to unpack and unravel there that's not easy for people, but important to do if you want to be in an equitable partnership where there's shared investment, shared power, mutuality. We both invest in the relationship. That means we both do a lot of things for each other. We keep each other in mind. We can decide how we want to divide things up in our lives, in our home. Like, we are in charge. But this whole idea that it's just a masculine feminine problem, to me, is like that's not going to help. That might help people for a day. But it's not going to help long term, because there's something going on in both of those partners that they've even fallen into those roles.
Like what this model would say, and actually said on the Instagram post, was the woman is tired of taking care of everything around the house or in life or whatever, and the dude is just sitting on his ass, basically. And so their solution is a woman needs to trust him. He needs to step forward into his, quote, masculine, and start taking care of all this stuff for her. And then she can kind of relax and feel better. That's what they would say, I think. That's more or less what the post said. And another frame on this is she is doing that not because he's in his feminine or whatever. It's because for whatever reason, they got into a dynamic where he was entitled and checked out of the relationship and felt like it was okay to go to work and just take care of stuff and provide, which is, by the way, very, quote, manly or masculine.
Right.
And that she bought into that. Like they fell into this dynamic, and she's doing that because he's falling short, but not because he's in his feminine or not in his masculine. And she also is in her probably a childhood pattern that could be called codependency, over-functioning, because that's what she thought would get her love and approval. Now she's resentful. She's not resentful because he's not in his masculine. She's resentful because she is tired of doing this relationship alone.
Yeah. It doesn't address the relationship as its own entity that needs attention and care and focus from both of them. It keeps it in this individual either or, you or me, you and me, versus the us, the third thing that we're here for, which, again, this is so important to have a secure relationship where the security gives you energy, vitality, resources to do really cool things as individuals and as a couple. It means that the issues of trust and collaboration and mutuality and consideration are being tended to so well that you have a lot of freedom. And so I feel like this model just keeps you in this either or black and white thing that will never transcend into what honestly, what I'm trying to help a lot of couples do, which is like transcend into beyond that, into a more complex thing, which is us. There's you and me, and then there's an us. And how do we tend to that? It's like, it's not you, me, and our two kids. It's our family. It's like there's a larger experience here between all these people that we're trying to honor and live into, and this black and white, masculine, feminine polarity thing there's no room for that.
There isn't. And again, that model says you're going to be most happy and better off if you're in these roles and, quote, energies, as opposed to being yourself. And this is one of my biggest complaints of this is, I think what I've coached over the last 20 something years people is the people in the most fulfilling relationships are not doing this. They're found a way to be true to who they are, no matter how masculine or feminine they are, no matter how anxious or avoidant they are, no matter how neurotic they are. They found a way to be more and more courageous in their self-expression and their self-acceptance, and they're willing to bring that to the relationship. And the other person's doing the same thing. They're like, I am being myself here. Wow. And it's scary because it triggers you sometimes. But they find a way together as a team to have the us become really important and the priority. And they're fulfilled because they're being themselves. They're not trying on a hat or a role.
Yeah. And being yourself maybe feels like a very vague target. I call that a lot. I'm like, that's like, it's hard to know what that is. Yeah. That might be worth doing. Because if we're both interested in being a more authentic, embodied, fully actualized version of ourselves and take that wherever it's going, and at the same time be extremely interested in you having that experience. Yeah. It's not just about me bringing more of my authenticity, truth, and genuineness, openness, vulnerability, all the things. It's me also being very interested in you doing the same and me making this a place, our relationship a place where you can do that, you want to do that, where you can rely on me for support with that. We're providing a lot for each other when it comes to supporting each other's growth, development, and full expression. And it would be it's like I'm heartbroken at the idea of having to somehow reduce all of that to masculine and feminine energy. I'm like, oh my God, I would have missed out on so much of myself and so much of you if I required you to be in this quote unquote masculine energy. Again, how they're defining it. Like, I don't even know, like, for us to function well as a couple, I'm just like, there's so much more beyond that. And there's so much more around that and outside of that that's been so growthful and life affirming and fun. And oh my God.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. And by the way, I tried this early on in our relationship, some version of this. And it just felt performative to me over time, which is really bad for me. By the way, for who I am, my ego structure, more performative, I need to be someone other than who I am, is like toxic to me at this point. I have such an allergic reaction to that. And so it bums me out that there's so many people perpetuating this. And I think it's because it's easy to understand. It's kind of simple in theory. I just need to act this way and it will do this result over here. But I really want to underscore what Ellen said, which is this me, you, and us thing that we talked about, I think, in episode 2. Like the primary principle that we're trying to help couples to is what Stan calls secure functioning, or what we've called standing for 3 at times, where it's like I take a stand for myself, being myself and doing me the way I want to do it authentically. And I take a stand for you doing that. And I take a stand for the relationship, and you do the same thing. And why would I do something that's good for me, bad for you? These are, I think, way more useful frames to co-create something awesome and stable.
Yeah, and it gets into growth and development again. There's so much, like, we're here for not very long in the grand scheme of things, but maybe 80 to 100 years if we're lucky. And there's a lot of growing and developing to do. There's a lot to experience in life. There's a lot of love to be had. You want access to that full path, I think. Yeah. And becoming more fully myself. I have a lot to learn. It's not just like, here I am, take me as I am. I'm like, here I am. I have some growing edges. Yeah. I have some things I'm really proud of, and I have some aspects of myself that I'm not and need refinement, and I want to refine them, and or aspects of my things I've never done that I still want to do. I mean, there's just so much.
One more thing, what I've seen over time, if I go into this model a little bit and I go, okay, let me try this on. I liked what you said about Jungian psychology, which has this, we have this anima and this animus inside of us, which you could just say we have a masculine and feminine inside of us.
And we have a healthy masculine and an unhealthy masculine.
A shadow masculine and a shadow feminine.
I mean, according to Jungian psychology, this is a view.
I love.
Which is amazing. Yes, it's an amazing view.
So I'm into that. And if that's true, then I as a human being want to grow and develop, which means I want to integrate all of it. So I want to be masculine and feminine. I don't want to be just in my masculine. I want to be the whole range. And in order for us to have a good relationship, I don't need you to be the opposite when I'm being one of them.
Yeah.
You know, I want you to also be integrating your shadow, your maybe left brain, your right brain, your anxiousness, your avoidantness, your masculine, your feminine, all your opposites.
Yeah, which are all going on in there somewhere.
I want you to be all of it rather than one of it and discarding the other while I'm in the opposite. And that's where the polarity plays out over here. Again, that I'm just like, what?
I'm like, that gives us such a tiny sliver of connection in this very multifaceted experience of two human beings coming together over time in different states, spaces, different histories, different everythings in a given moment. And there's so many ways to connect deeply and powerfully that, you know, it just...
I know.
I just want us all to have a bigger menu.
Bigger menu. So to repeat, TLDR here, I think the masculine feminine frame used alone is complete bullshit. It's like what Ellen said. It's maybe this tiny little slice. You could try it and see. And I know you're going to flame out because it's just so reductionistic and limited.
Yeah. And if you want ideas or ways of thinking or ways of being in partnership that are deeper, maybe have more longevity in mind, because I don't think the masculine feminine has longevity in mind at all. It has momentary, I don't know, connection, excitement, something. Mm-hmm. But for longevity, for vitality and sustainability and inspiration and connection long term, you definitely can come and listen to us. And we will always point you in that direction.
Yeah, completely. We're trying to offer grounded relationship advice here for married people or long-term partnership, families, people who are in this thing for the long haul. Like, what's sustainable? Yeah. What's actually works and what is integrative and fulfilling.
Mm-hmm. And it's based in research on human beings. That really has... you know, based on in our practices with people and our own marriage, you know, we've served lots of people and have studied with lots of amazing folks from different directions. And there's just a lot more to partnership and just human development and human relationships over time than this polarity model.
Yeah. But it's your life. Experiment if you want.
Yes.
And report back. Always open to hearing pushback from people who've been in it for 2 decades. And somehow this is all you've done and it's worked.
Yeah.
I'd love
to be open to hearing about that.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks, Ellen. We might have to do a part 2 on this.
We might, but that's probably good for now.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for subscribing and listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And we'll see you soon.